This 80-year-old man lay dying on his bed, yet in his prime, he was a legend who dominated the martial world. Plundering the rich to favor his own, he possessed wealth, beauty, and absolute power as the unholy lord of the 𝒊𝒍𝒏𝒔 sect. 𝒊𝒍𝒏𝒔 was an unstoppable tyrant, but even the strongest cannot escape the cruel, relentless passage of time. Watching his disciples wail in fake sorrow touched him, but he knew those old foxes only craved his vast inheritance. Suddenly, the Grim Reaper, known as Black Impermanence, arrived to claim his soul. The great lord's end was finally here. Just as his life flickered out, his most loyal subordinate arrived with the legendary herb of eternal life for him to consume. The Reaper's harvest failed at the final second, leaving the old man to mock the god of death with arrogant laughter. "Is that all you have? You are far too green to claim my soul," he boasted, trash-talking the Reaper's low skill level. But a sinister, haunting smile crept across the Reaper's face, before an abyssal darkness suddenly swallowed the entire world whole. When he finally opened his eyes, the scene had changed. He had reincarnated into the body of a lowly Wudang disciple. Memories merged instantly as he became Jinmu, an orphan abandoned by his parents and raised by a humble Wudang priest. At 17 years old, Jinmu's master had been tragically crippled by enemies while searching for rare herbs in the mountains. While trying to save him, Jinmu fell from a steep cliff, allowing the unholy lord's soul to possess this young body. He tried to rise, but his new body was completely shattered and screaming in waves of agonizing, unbearable pain. He recalled the Reaper's wicked grin that dark bastard must have rigged his reincarnation out of pure, petty spite. After falling into the abyss, the Wudang sect found his broken body and began their desperate attempts to save him. From now on, let us just call our protagonist Jinmu to keep the story flowing smoothly for everyone. Grimacing in pain, the elders quickly checked his pulse and began channeling their powerful internal energy into his frame. They flooded him with pure immortal qi. To a former dark master, this felt like being slowly executed from within. He was trapped in a broken state, unable to scream or resist their suffocating and righteous healing techniques. Left like a hollow, soulless shell, he watched as the elders celebrated their successful treatment with joyful smiles. Master Myungjin bowed in deep gratitude to the sect leader and elders for saving his precious disciple's life. Poor Jinmu looked like he had been utterly violated by all that righteous energy. It was a truly pitiful sight. Now imbued with the Wudang's 6 Yang divine art, the elders decided to officially make Jinmu the primary disciple. The irony was suffocating. In his past life, he was the very monster who had crippled Myungjin's martial arts. Being the disciple of his former victim? Heavens, are you playing with me? He screamed in silent, burning rage. To ensure his recovery, the elders continued chanting exorcism prayers to banish any lingering darkness from his young body. "Give me medicine, you old fools, not spells," he raged as tears of pure frustration began to flow. Once the supreme lord of the 𝒊𝒍𝒏𝒔 sect, he was now a first-generation disciple in a fading, declining sect. The elder's immortal qi had rooted deep, blocking his ability to use his legendary dark techniques from his past life. The 6 Yang art was now his foundation, rendering his once godly evil skills completely unusable and locked away. While boiling with internal fury, he suddenly heard his new master's gentle voice calling out from behind him. Like a switch flipping, he masked his anger instantly. "Yes, master? Is there something you need from me?" He couldn't help it. The original Jinmu's muscle memory and humble nature were far too strong to resist. He regretted sparing Myungjin's life in the past. If only he had annihilated the entire Wudang sect back then. Master announced it was time for dinner, and Jinmu's body reflexively responded, "I will prepare the meal immediately, master." He marched into the kitchen, wielding the knife with the deadly precision of a master assassin chopping ingredients. He seasoned the soup perfectly, creating a dish so delicious it could move any hungry man to tears. "Curse this. I am a great sect leader, not a chef. How do I escape this wretched Wudang mountain?" 3 months passed as his body fully recovered while he began mastering the fundamentals of the 6 Yang art. Being a martial genius, his comprehension of the Wudang arts was unnaturally fast, shocking everyone in the sect. His master was stunned. Jinmu achieved in months what usually takes decades of intense meditation and practice. Even though he despised the technique, his progress was undeniable and terrifyingly swift due to his past experience. Yet, the original Jinmu's instincts still controlled his tongue, forcing him to obey every word his master uttered. "You are lucky you are my master in this life," he growled internally. "Otherwise, you would be long dead. I would have gutted him already." Still, Wudang's way of the flame was unexpectedly intriguing. Every day, his internal fire grew hotter. The path of a master craftsman required absolute precision. Unlike the volatile demonic arts of his past, this orthodox style possessed its own hidden power. Jinmu became obsessed with his training. A year passed as he reached the legendary Blade Aura stage. His talent now eclipsed even the elite disciples. But the Wudang style had one fatal weakness. The growth of his soul fire was agonizingly slow, and Jinmu wasn't a man who liked to wait. He sought to fuse his forbidden demonic mastery, but the two energies clashed like fire and ice. Until he reached the absolute realm, he couldn't bridge the gap between these two worlds. Then, while tempering his spirit, he encountered a disgraced disciple from the second generation. Banished to the kitchens for his sharp tongue, this boy held a secret that changed everything. To become the true successor, one must inherit the sect leader's hidden forging manual. Jinmu didn't care about that old man. But the boy mentioned the Dual Flame Sutra. The Dual Flame Sutra, a lost art capable of merging two opposing elemental forces. Jinmu's heart nearly stopped. He grabbed the boy, his eyes burning with intense desperation. Could it be real? The legendary sutra? It had vanished long before the era of the Great War. It was a forbidden technique of the Wudang that allowed a master to wield two souls. If he mastered it, his demonic forge and celestial spark would finally merge into a god-tier weapon. Once the boy confirmed the legend, Jinmu grinned. He had finally found his path to vengeance. He'd create weapons that could slaughter gods and make those arrogant heroes kneel in terror. But the boy warned him. Becoming the successor is a path of pure suicide. Every hero and noble elite wanted that title. Jinmu just laughed. Those pathetic weaklings? They are mere insects compared to my flames. The next day, he prepared a feast. Though his previous life was cold, this body still felt a strange, lingering debt to its master. Every time he tried to abandon the old man, his legs would instinctively lead him back home. To sever this bond, he had to heal the teacher. Meat, he decided, is the ultimate medicine. Despite the temple's strict vegetarian laws, he forced his master to eat, fueling his recovery. While his master ate, Jinmu stepped outside. With one cold strike, he pierced 3 falling leaves. His precision was flawless. Suddenly, a clumsy footsteps echoed through the quiet training yard. Jinmu stopped his blade inches from a throat. A second later, and the boy would have been dead. It was Zhang, a chubby disciple from the supply hall. He was there to deliver the master's rations. Jinmu stared in disbelief. How can a monk look so much like a pig? He didn't care about the previous loudmouth. Jinmu told the kid to drop the supplies and vanish. But the kid stayed, eyes sparkling with awe. Big brother, your technique. It's absolutely legendary. Zhang cheered like a man possessed. It's like you're dancing with a storm of steel. The chubby boy eventually just sat down to watch. Jinmu felt his patience rapidly wearing thin. Is this pig really going to stay here? He debated whether to kick him down the mountain, but the boy insisted it was his day off. Jinmu scoffed. Go play with your friends, kid. Is there no one else at the hall? The boy's smile faltered. Everyone is. Always busy. Jinmu realized it instantly. Zhang was the sex outcast, mocked by everyone. Yet, the boy kept smiling, hiding his pain. He reminded Jinmu of a loyal general from the past. That man was also a fool, but his heart was more solid than the finest steel. Seeing that same spirit in Zhang, Jinmu decided to let the nuisance stay. Zhang began practicing the 7-star fist. His basic movements were surprisingly fluid and precise. The kid had clearly spent thousands of hours refining every single strike, with painstaking care. But Jinmu saw the obvious problem. The boy's heavy weight was shackling his true potential. A pathetic lack of intuition. The divide between the weak and the strong. Only at sunset does Jinmu finally allow a rest. The fatty collapses, gasping for his very life. True masters fix flaws in just one breath. Yet this fool needed 20 attempts. A total idiot blocking Jinmu's legendary path to greatness. He's an obstacle to becoming the top disciple. Don't return tomorrow, Jinmu warns, or I'll bury you. Terrified, the fatty nods and flees. Soon, the dawn's first light pierces the mist of Wudang Mountain. The master is away walking. The nuisance hasn't shown up. Jinmu smirks, finally finding his peace. He draws his blade to dance, but the rhythm is shattered as an unwelcome guest arrives. Standing beside the fatty is Jinheo, the elite first-generation genius of the Yuan Hua Hall, one of Wudang's legendary 7 sons. Jinmu wonders what business this high and mighty senior has. He offers a polite greeting, but before he can finish, Jinheo's rage explodes like a storm. How dare you teach forbidden demonic arts to our junior? The senior roars, eyes blazing with fury. Turns out the fatty's dirty strikes were devastatingly effective. Jinmu secretly cheers. Well done, kid. Jinheo's lecturing is endless and grating. Jinmu's patience finally snaps like a dry twig. Stop whining like a woman. In battle, only victory matters. If you're done talking trash, then leave. Silence falls. Jin Hyo is frozen in shock. Since when did this weakling grow such sharp teeth? Wasn't he just a docile caretaker? Why is he suddenly acting like a ruthless underworld kingpin? Jin Hyo concludes that isolation has poisoned the boy's mind with pure, unadulterated arrogance. As a senior, he must deliver a painful lesson. But Jinmu, he's ready to feast. He draws his blade, inviting the senior to strike. Jin Hyo is livid at the blatant disrespect. That smug grin is an insult to the entire sect. The senior's blood boils at the insolence. If you won't move, I will. Jinmu blurs forward, and the legendary duel finally begins. He unleashes the 13 divine swords, a technique precision-engineered to shatter the enemy's wrist points. Both blades stay sheathed to avoid death, but the sheer mastery Jinmu displays is terrifying. Every strike is fluid and perfect, carrying the overwhelming weight of a tiger descending the mountain. These swords are meant for a gentleman to disarm and humiliate without shedding a drop of blood, but in Jinmu's hands, they are lethal. A symphony of killing intent aimed at the vitals. Crack! The divine gate point is struck. Jin Hyo's sword clatters uselessly to the cold dirt. Defeated. Jin Hyo admits the truth: this junior's precision is absolute and his techniques are god tier. Less than a year of training? This isn't just talent. It's a monster awakening within Wudang. He has truly inherited the legacy of the legendary master. A genius that defies all reason. Jin Hyo moves to make peace, but Jinmu's fist is already breaking the sound barrier. Bam! A direct hit to the face. Jin Hyo stumbles back, clutching his mangled, bloody nose. No mercy in a duel. Jinmu laughs. Beating these arrogant priests feels absolutely divine. Every blow is a release for the years of oppression his predecessor suffered under this sect. Jin Hyo is reduced to a bloody mess. The elite genius met a real, living nightmare. The fatty watches with pure worship in his eyes. From this day, he is Jinmu's shadow. Dispose of this trash. Meanwhile, the Wudang elders gather in the sacred Purple Wilds pavilion. The shockwave of Jin Hyo's defeat hits the council. The weakling has toppled a seventh son. The great sect leader learns the truth. Jinmu is rewriting the ancient arts themselves, modifying the seven-star fist for a common disciple. To the elders, this is pure madness. To change the core spirit of a technique, he must have reached a level of enlightenment. They fear the master is planning a rebellion. The next morning, the fatty returns with bags. I'm moving in, Senior Jin Hyo said. I must learn the true way from you, boss. Jinmu tries to kick the parasite out, but the master has already granted his permission. That fat oaf Jonggu crawled back, and I reluctantly agreed to mentor him. Imagine his nerve, trying to charm my master while I was gone. He immediately fell to his knees, trembling, claiming he wasn't strong enough to lead. But then, my master grabbed his hand with tear-filled eyes. I felt a sudden chill down my spine. What kind of twisted game is this old man playing now? He claimed Jinmu was now strong enough to crush Jonggu, making him a true martial prodigy. My success, he said, was his only joy. I was ready to kick the fat one out, but my eccentric master ruined the plan. If he weren't my master's host, I'd have dealt with him already. Fine, I'm hungry. Go make food. I barked. Overjoyed at being allowed to stay, Jonggu looked at me with newfound hope. He promised to handle all the chores. I accepted him under orders, but I made one thing clear. Listen carefully, brat. First, I am not your master. Second, you follow my every command. And finally, you will train exactly how I dictate. Follow these 3 rules, and we're fine. But the moment you slip up, I'll personally beat the living daylights out of you. Got it? Yes, understood, boss, he shouted. I immediately sent him to the kitchen to prepare a feast for my master. He started by slaughtering 2 chickens, expertly draining the blood and scalding them to pluck the feathers. His movements were flawless. I didn't expect this fat boy to be so skilled. Perhaps he'll be useful for handling all the tedious tasks I despise. Despite his flaws, Jonggu seemed honest and loyal, the type who wouldn't dream of betrayal. A rare trait in this cruel world. His kindness was his weakness, making him an easy target for bullies. Fine then, I'll take this clumsy giant under my wing. As we carried the food, Jonggu began to panic. The Wudang sect's 10 commandments strictly forbid the consumption of meat. These sacred laws are the foundation for every Taoist. To them, eating flesh is the ultimate sin against their cultivation. Their internal alchemy requires pure energy. They believe meat corrupts the spirit before one can achieve true immortal qi. Instead of divine ascension, they claim meat only fuels worldly internal power. Thus, disciples are restricted to grains and herbs. I told the coward to relax. We were cooking in secret. Who would ever know how delicious this forbidden chicken truly is? With my protection, his fear vanished, replaced by pure hunger. He stared at the golden meat, gulping down his saliva. I entered the room and presented the stew to my master. "Eat up," I said. "You need your strength to recover quickly. The faster the old man heals, the sooner I can leave this suffocating sect behind." My master tried to offer me a drumstick. I declined, lying that Jong-gu and I had already eaten our fill. I told him a growing boy only needs a little. "Only one chicken for the two of you?" he asked. "Why didn't you catch 3? I couldn't help but scoff internally. Look at this fallen priest. One taste of meat and his holy facade crumbles instantly. He was devouring it like a beast. Watching him eat made my own stomach growl. But when I stepped outside, that gluttonous pig Jong-gu had polished off 3 whole chickens. "You greedy bastard! Did you leave nothing for me?" I roared. Even the broth was gone. But as we brawled, the nightmare arrived. The sect leader and the great elders appeared out of nowhere. Jong-gu froze in terror, dropping his bowl with a loud clatter. "The stench of meat has reached the mountain's peak," an elder barked. "How dare you defy the sacred laws of Wudang? As the hall leader of discipline, I cannot overlook this sacrilege. Your master will hear of this, and your punishment will be absolute." The elders stormed into the room, ready to condemn us. But they stopped dead in their tracks at the sight inside. There sat my master, licking his fingers clean after devouring every scrap. I thought, this is it. My chance at being the top disciple is over. I immediately dropped to my knees, feigning deep regret. This is all my fault. My master was simply too weak to endure. "Silence!" the elder screamed, their faces twisted in rage as they prepared to cast judgment on us all. This is the cold reality of the martial world. When you lose your power, even your brothers will turn their backs on you. Many great sects have vanished into the shadows of history because they clung to pride while their foundations rotted away. My master's words were sharp, cutting through the elders' arrogance like a blade. They stood frozen, unable to find a retort. He explained that meat was vital for his recovery. My advice had actually worked. His vitality was returning at an incredible rate. After being bedridden for 10 years, he was finally walking again. It was a miracle that none of them could deny. He argued that tradition must evolve. To gain strength, one must sometimes break the very rules that bind them. Clinging to poverty only leaves disciples hungry and weak. Without strength, how can they hope to defend against the demonic cults? If we do not kill to grow strong, we will be the ones slaughtered, he proclaimed. His voice echoed with undeniable authority. While they obsessed over ancient laws, Wudang was crumbling from within. If the sect falls, what use are your precious commandments? But the stubborn elder refused to budge. To him, the 10 Commandments were the very soul and history of Wudang itself. Even if his health improved, he insisted that the law must be absolute. The clash between old tradition and new survival had begun. A reckless path leads to ruin. As the crowd brawls, the sect leader's roar silences the chaos. Instantly, peace returns. He commands everyone to leave so he can speak with Myeongjin alone. The elders retreat, unwilling to argue further. Jinmu scoffs at these noisy, meddling old monks. Making a fuss over a few chickens? I wonder if my dream of becoming a top disciple is over. The next day, Jinmu is summoned to the Grand Hall before the powerful Wudang Council, accused of 3 major crimes. Was it really just about stealing some poultry for a meal? This old man is talking nonsense. Don't think your rank lets you spout lies, Jinmu thinks. First crime, eating meat. Second, desecrating the sacred sword arts with unauthorized, reckless modifications. Third, brutally wounding a senior. They blame me for everything. Their hateful glares are suffocating. In my past life, I would have blinded them all. Finally, the sect leader delivers the verdict. 1 month of labor in the sword realm. And surprisingly, eating meat will no longer be forbidden. Jinmu is shocked. Such a terrifying buildup for such a remarkably light and rewarding punishment. The elders are outraged. They demand a harsher sentence for this blatant violation of sect rules. But the sect leader stands firm. He refuses to buckle under the pressure of the furious council. One elder is seething with rage, but he is powerless to change the supreme leader's decree. The hallmaster asks if this meat allowance is linked to Myeongjin's miraculous recovery. The physician had long known meat was vital for strength, but feared breaking the ancient laws. He deeply regrets his hesitation. After all, a human life is more precious than any rule. The sword realm is Wudang's fortress, yet it has been neglected and left unguarded for years. The sect has declined so much. In my past life, the demonic cult easily stormed this place. 10 years have passed without any repairs. Has the mighty Wudang sect truly fallen this far? Where are the disciples? Jinmu realizes the jealous cowards are intentionally avoiding this duty. They despise his talent. Most disciples are high-born nobles who cannot stand an orphan's rise. His status as an equal offends their pride. They hate his skills and his special privileges. He broke the rules, beat his seniors, and yet the sect leader treats him with favoritism. Naturally, the others are green with envy. No one likes a stray stone that outshines jewels. Let them rot in their jealousy. I will become the greatest disciple Wudang has ever seen. Just you wait, you fools. Zhonggu, let's go. We have some very important work to do. Day 1. A wild boar feast. The aroma of roasting meat fills the sacred, quiet mountains. Day 2. Succulent boiled chicken. Myungjin enjoys every bite of this forbidden, delicious meal. Day 3. Roasted rabbit. It's crispy, tender, and perfect. The sect leader's punishment is a dream. While they should be repairing the realm, these two are only focused on catching more prey. Don't worry about the rules. I've got your back. On day 4, a new visitor arrives. Zhongsang, a senior brother with a handsome face but a cold, arrogant, and insulting attitude. He glares at Jinmu with clear defiance. Zhonggu reveals this man is a true genius. He has mastered the flowing cloud style and is one of the few to reach swordburst. Praised for his rare talent, Zhongsang's ego swells. Jinmu watches with pure, growing annoyance. Who does he think he is? In my past life, I would have crushed his pride instantly. Before his humble origins are mentioned, Zhongsang barks a cold command for them to stop. He hates being reminded of his low birth. Talent means nothing to the noble-born elite here. This sect is dying because of this discrimination. I despise every single one of these hypocrites. If I'm not happy, I'll just change this whole sect to my liking. Now, move that rock. We weren't really here to work. We were just killing time and eating delicious roasted rabbit. Stop talking nonsense and move it, or I'll beat you myself. Zhongsang watches them closely. Moving that stone requires 30 years of internal power. Is this boy hiding a monstrous strength? Lifting that massive boulder was physically impossible. The fatty trembled, trapped between fear and his leader's absolute command. He strained until his veins nearly burst, but the stone remained unmoved. Zhongsang sneered at this pathetic, weak display. Just a cheap bluff, he thought. They are making a mockery of our arts, pathetic peasants playing at power. But Jinmu stepped forward, eyes gleaming. Watch closely, he whispered. Witness how a true master rewrites the rules. Lower your center, plant your feet like ancient roots, grip the earth and become one with the immovable mountain. Now, lift! Trusting his master blindly, the fatty unleashed a sudden, explosive surge of hidden, terrifying internal energy. The massive rock soared into the sky. Under Zhongsang's horrified gaze, it was hurled deep into the lake. I did it! The fatty roared. Zhongsang stood frozen. A simple posture change? No, this was something impossible. Jinmu's eyes gleamed with cold malice. The hook was set. This genius was finally questioning his own reality. I didn't just fix his stance. I secretly infused him with my own devastating power. This fool suspects nothing. Just wait, I'll make your eyes pop out soon. Lunchtime arrived, and the intoxicating scent of roasted prey beckoned. Golden rabbit meat sizzled over the flames. The aroma was divine, but Zhongsang remained stone-faced and silent. He wouldn't break his sacred vows. But Jinmu knew every man had a price, especially a hungry young warrior. Eat up. You need strength to reach the top. He waved the meat, tempting the righteous soul within him. He swallowed hard, his hunger warring with his pride. His willpower was impressive, but I am far more relentless. The 10 precepts are crumbling. The elders think they are modernizing, but they are inviting their own total destruction. Wudang is becoming secular. A small crack today becomes a devastating flood of corruption tomorrow. It is perfect. First meat, then wine, then women. One by one, their sacred laws will burn to ash and forgotten dust. These noble priests will rot from the inside out, drowning in a world of forbidden and carnal pleasures. But first, I must master the dual balance mantra. Then, the throne of the sect leader is finally mine. I will transform this holy land into a demonic hellscape. Wudang will fall and rise under my dark shadow. The entire martial world will bow to my whim. To rule, I need loyal dogs and perfectly sharp tools. Zhongsang was the perfect candidate for my number 2 general. Tired? Why not spar with the fatty instead? Silence fell like a hammer. The gap in their ranks was heaven and earth. A duel was pure madness. Master, I can't. He's a genius, the fatty whimpered. But Jinmu just flashed a wicked, knowing smile. Relax. I believe in you. You will win this. Zhongsang's pride finally flared into a cold, sharp rage. He couldn't stay calm. How could the weakest disciple even dream of challenging a swordmaster like him? Zhongsang had mastered the qi infusion stage. Very few in Wudang could match his lethal, focused sword intent. Meanwhile, the fatty was a total novice. No sword, no technique, just empty fists and raw, desperate hunger. Fists against my blade? Are you mocking me? Zhongsang's voice was cold as ice. The trap was set. Pushed by Jinmu's mockery, the ultimate underdog prepared to face a monster. The very atmosphere turned electric. Zhongsang grabbed a mere branch. A genius needs no steel to kill. Jinmu leaned in close to whisper. He poured a secret, forbidden technique into the fatty's ear. They huddled together, plotting a total, legendary upset. Fail me, and you're expelled. Lose, and you'll never taste meat again. It was the ultimate, cruel threat. For a glutton like him, starvation was worse than death. The fatty's eyes ignited with a primal, fiery fury. Anyone who stops me from eating dies, he roared, his aura shifting into something truly terrifying and dark. Zhongsang was bewildered. Who was this mysterious Jinmu? He moved like a ghost and thought like gods. A single tip had granted the fatty godlike strength. Was Jinmu a hidden master from the ancient legends? The elders back home had spat on his low birth. They saw nothing but a worthless and common peasant. But here, the impossible was happening. This loser was evolving right before his eyes. He needed the truth. Hope flickered in his heart. The duel erupted. The fatty charged forward like a mountain consumed by fire. He used the Big Dipper footwork. His movements mirrored the stars, dancing through the chaotic void of the battle. Zhongsang spotted the weakness instantly. The pivot point. Strike there, and the entire technique shatters into pieces. As the branch lunged for the killing blow, the fatty vanished. A flicker in reality, a shadow in light. He ducked beneath the strike, weaving through death. Now, it was time for a devastating, bone-shattering counterattack. Behold the lazy donkey technique. It looks ridiculous, but the impact is devastatingly fast. Though it lacks the grace of a noble warrior, this ground-rolling style is lethally effective. It shattered Zhongsang's defense instantly. A heavy blow landed right on his exposed back. Trapped in close quarters, the elite disciple was paralyzed. Jinmu's strategy was working perfectly. Target the sword hand. Under Jinmu's guidance, the underdog began to overwhelm the genius. The flowing cloud style relies on elegance. But against raw, chaotic pressure, it completely falls apart. Using the earth as a spring, our big guy lunged forward. The ultimate counterattack was here. This is the Iron Mountain lean. The collision was so violent, the wooden branch snapped instantly. Zhongsang was sent flying backward. Staring at his broken weapon, he couldn't believe his defeat. You fool. I told you to keep rolling until his back was wide open. Why is Jinmu still shouting? Even in victory, the master demanded absolute perfection from them. If that were a real blade, you'd be a corpse. In battle, a single hesitation means death. The verdict was final. Zhonggu lost. Now, their brutal punishment training begins right away. No meat for 2 days. Zhongsang watched, baffled by this vulgar yet brilliant new master. Jinmu speaks like a common thug. He mocks every sacred rule of the righteous path. He isn't the hero I expected. Yet, beneath that arrogant mask lies a terrifying, hidden power. Half a month passed at the Sword Tomb. The ruins were slowly being rebuilt with mastery. But something changed. Why is this arrogant genius suddenly acting like a humble servant? Zhongsang is now fetching wood and cooking. His pride has vanished, replaced by total respect. The once haughty disciple is gone. Jinmu watched them eat burnt chicken with bizarre enthusiasm. They're eating charcoal and calling it a feast. Have these guys completely lost their minds? They threw a whole unplucked chicken into the fire. It's a culinary disaster of epic proportions. All thanks to you, uncle. Zhonggu felt a surge of strength he never knew before. Meat is the secret to power. But Zhongsang had a much more calculated motive. He's fishing for secrets. He wants Jinmu to fix the flaws in his swordsmanship. My throat is so dry, I can't even speak. Maybe some cold water would help? The genius didn't hesitate. He ran for water while Jinmu smirked at his new student. I'll forge them into legends, one step at a time, through my own brutal methods. This chicken is terrible. Meanwhile, back at the palace, a storm of rage was brewing. Elder Jinhai is livid. News of Jinmu eating meat has reached the High Council. The sect leader's mercy has its limits. This blatant lawbreaking cannot go unpunished any longer. They must pay. Jinhai realized Jinmu was poisoning the minds of the elite. Zhongsang is our brightest star. How could he fall under the influence of that monster? With fake tears, the elder played his hand. He painted Jinmu as a corrupting villain. He taught them a donkey role to humiliate us. The dignity of Wudang is being dragged through mud. Our sacred sword art has a fatal weakness? The elders were shaken by Jinwoo's insight. He's been here less than a year. How could a novice see through centuries of tradition? This isn't luck. It's the awakening of a combat genius beyond anyone's wildest imagination. His growth rate is terrifying. If we don't stop him now, he'll overshadow the entire sect. I'll bring him to justice immediately. But the Grand Master hesitated, sensing something deeper. Let me consider this. The elder was stunned. Why wasn't the punishment being ordered? Curse that useless old man. Jinhai's heart was filled with nothing but pure, dark jealousy. He was the one who sabotaged the repairs, a snake hiding in the shadows of the temple. Wudang is crumbling from within. Their influence is fading as rival clans seize their territory. The Zhuge family is taking everything. The treasury is empty, and the sect's future is bleeding. Empty coffers leave the sect desperate. To survive, an alliance with the Xiangyang merchant group is their only hope. This crucial deal relies entirely on Jinhee's family influence. He holds the sect's financial future in his hands. Naturally, he's now the prime candidate for Great Disciple. Meanwhile, our hero Jinwoo is busy eating burnt chicken. While they feast in secret, the atmosphere shifts. Guests have finally arrived at the sacred Swordland entrance. A large group emerges from the distance. The wealthy merchants are here to claim their place in Wudang. Jinwoo instantly orders his followers to hide the evidence. Every bone and grease stain must vanish right now. Zhongsong is tasked with greeting the VIPs. I am Zhongsong, a second-generation disciple of the great Wudong sect. However, he forgot to wipe the charcoal soot off his face. The guests are left in awkward, stunned silence. Jinhee steps forward to salvage the situation. Welcome, merchant leader. Please, honor us with your presence inside. The leader senses something is amiss. Jinhee is confused. He has no idea his seniors were just breaking rules. Then he sees it, the greasy faces of the duo. These fools were definitely eating meat on sacred ground. He knows exactly who orchestrated this. That useless Jinwoo. How dare that trash ruin such a formal moment? Jinwoo glares back with icy eyes. Jinhee is fuming, but he must maintain his noble act for the guests. As they walk away, Jinwoo senses a disturbance. The power dynamic between the two groups feels incredibly wrong. The merchant leader walks ahead like a king, while Jinhee follows like a servant. The hierarchy is upside down. Zhongseng explains their long history in the region. But to Jinwoo, the name Xiangyang sounds like a complete lie. In his past life, Jinwoo was a legendary tycoon. He knew every major player, yet this group is unknown. Why would Wudang's top disciple bow to a nobody? There is definitely a dark, hidden motive at play here. One look at the merchant's face confirms it. He has the eyes of a traitor and a serpent's tongue. This man is a walking disaster. He will bring nothing but ruin and corruption to the Wudang sect's gates. Inside the hall, the bribing begins. They present mountains of gold and high-grade equipment to the greedy elders. The finance elder nearly breaks down in tears. It has been 10 long years since he saw such wealth. Finally, the disciples can afford new uniforms. The sect leader is deeply moved by this generous display of friendship. The merchant leader seizes the moment to praise Jinhee. He's making the boy his key to controlling the sect. At 20, Jinhee is already being named one of the Wudang Seven Swords. A genius in the making? To show their gratitude, the sect leader offers them a place to stay. They will be treated like royalty. Once the hall is empty, the elders let out a sigh of relief. The sect's revival finally seems possible. They shower Jinhee with praise for this miracle. But every gold coin comes with a heavy, hidden debt. The merchants want Wudang's protection. They need legendary blades to guard their goods through the lawless mountain passes. In this world, strength is the only currency that matters. Without powerful guards, a merchant is just a target. Years ago, Wudang was a titan of the martial world. Every major guild begged for their favor and strength, but as the sect faded, the Zhuge family took over. Now, no one wants to deal with Wudang anymore. This makes the current deal feel like a blessing. But outside, the true scheme is finally being revealed. A suspicious manager asks why they gave so much. Why not just bribe the powerful Zhuge family instead? The leader sneers with arrogance. The Zhuge family is too honorable and smart. They don't touch dirty business. They would never protect smugglers like us. The truth is out. These aren't merchants. They are low-life criminals. High on the roof, Jinwoo hears every word. His cold gaze pierces through the night like a blade. The Xiangyang group is just a pack of filthy smugglers. They think Wudang is an easy shield for them. They believe they can manipulate the sect for their crimes. They've stepped into the wrong dragon's den today. Jinwoo won't allow these rats to rot his home. The mocked craftsman is ready to forge their destruction. As the other disciples focus on their sword forms, Jin Woo is already crafting a plan to purge the sect. The scent of betrayal is thick in the air. These smugglers have no idea who is watching them. Every secret word they spoke was a nail in their coffin. Jin Woo's past life as a tycoon is awakening. He knows the world of greed better than anyone. This prosperous group is about to face a legendary reckoning. Back at the hall, the training continues. But the calm before the storm is about to break into chaos. The commander praised the fierce aura, finally witnessing the Wudang disciples' legendary skill firsthand. It was truly shocking. Nearby, Jin He's expression darkened, unable to hide his growing irritation. Jin Mu lurked beside him, his gaze sharp and cold like a venomous serpent's strike. Having requested to see the 9-palace sword formation, the elder led him to the training grounds. As Jin He stepped forward, Jin Mu smirked mockingly. "Senior, I have very high expectations for you," Jin He fumed. "Do you dare mock me? I will show you perfection without a single flaw." The formation began. This 9-palace array was the ultimate pride of the entire Wudang sect. 9 masters unite to suppress any foe. It looks chaotic, yet hides a terrifying, calculated order. They split and converge with lethal intent, a symphony of steel aimed at a single target. It demands perfect synchronization and elite leadership. Even the awakened master Jin Mu was slightly impressed. "Is it worth watching?" the elder asked. Jin Mu replied, "Impressive, but also quite disappointing." The elder was baffled. Jin Mu pointed to a gap. There, an enemy could escape instantly. He explained that the exterior was too slow to lure, while the interior lacked a sharp strike. The elder was frozen in shock. How could this boy dismantle their secret formation so easily? This was his first time seeing it, yet he already mastered its flaws. An absolute monster. To Jin Mu, the famed formation was clumsy, like a grandmaster resetting a low-level game. While others saw greatness, Jin Mu saw only weakness. The merchant leader watched them closely. He grew curious about Jin Mu's identity. The elder introduced him as Wudang's rising genius. Though a new disciple, his talent was monstrous. Even the sect leader had noticed him. The commander realized Jin Mu was a threat to Jin He's future. His gaze turned icy. Jin Mu had already overheard their scheme. This wasn't a friendly visit. It was a takeover. Jin He had invited them to secure his position as the top disciple at any cost. A merchant's greed was invading Wudang. Jin He was once smart. Now he's just a puppet. That bastard commander must regret his investment now, Jin Mu thought. His eyes narrowed dangerously. "And you, Jin He, how dare you bring this filth into my sect? You're dead." He needed the legendary breathing technique to crush their pathetic little conspiracy once and for all. The next morning, Master called Jin Mu. Surprisingly, he was dressed in his finest robes. He was heading to the Purple Cloud's palace. His face radiated a newfound vibrant energy today. It was the day of the monthly meeting. Elders and elite first-generation disciples were all attending. Due to his past injuries, Master had skipped these for years. But today was different. Jin Hyo greeted them warmly. "Forgive me, Master, for not visiting you more often lately. Is your martial art progressing?" Master asked. "Thanks to your disciple, my eyes were opened." Jin Hyo acted like Jin Mu's best friend. As they entered, the disciples bowed deeply. Their attitude was strange. Such deep respect, such solemn gazes. What had changed in them? Even the sect leader came down to greet Myeongjin personally, holding his hands warmly. "You must watch your health. Why travel so far?" the sect leader asked with concern. "Thanks to my disciple, my strength has returned. I can walk without any struggle now. It seems eating meat really does nourish the blood. I should have allowed it sooner. The air is cold. Let's go inside." Jin Hyo whispered a secret to the others nearby. Before his power was lost, Myeongjin was Wudang's most feared and respected Grandmaster Taoist. He and the sect leader were the twin stars of their era, invincible and legendary warriors. He once fought the heavenly evil sect leader alone, sacrificing his cultivation to save everyone. That's why every disciple revered him. Jin Mu realized the old man was a true legend, a glorious hero in the past, but just a troublesome old man to me now. Jin Mu finally stepped into the Great Hall, ready to face the destiny awaiting him. Listening to the elders bicker within the sect is enough to induce a massive migraine. Who knew Wudang's sudden wealth would lead to such endless, suffocating, and boring bureaucracy? Elder Myeongjin warns the sect leader. "We must tread carefully with the Sunyang Merchant Guild." Though Jin Hai vouched for them, their true motives and origins remain shrouded in mystery. The elder suggests a brilliant move. Send a disciple to shadow and assist the merchants. The sect leader agrees, but a vital question remains. Who is worthy of this mission? To everyone's shock, Jin Hyo nominates Jinmu, the perfect excuse for Jinmu to finally escape. Had Jinmu known this earlier, he might have punched Jin Hyo a bit softer before. With the sect leader's final seal of approval, the mission is officially set in stone. This stroke of luck proves one wise Taoist outmatches 10 scheming bandits combined today. Only one man fures in silence. Jin Hai knows his dark plans are in jeopardy. Refusing to admit defeat, Jin Hai incites the arrogant first-generation disciples like Jin Gum. Senior Jin Gum, will you let that rule-breaking delinquent walk free while we stay here? Beside him stands Jin So, urging calm despite the boiling tension in the mountain air. Jin So begs for reason, yet the fires of resentment refuse to be extinguished easily. Silence, brother. Are we to blindly follow the elders even when they make mistakes? These elite disciples hail from prestigious bloodlines, unlike the low-born and mysterious Jinmu. To them, Jinmu is a parasite poisoning Wudang's sacred traditions with his forbidden gluttony. They demand a brutal punishment. But then Jin Hyo suddenly makes a dramatic entrance. Tradition? A sect that refuses to evolve is a sect destined for the grave soon. He reminds them, meat restored the great uncle's health, and the ban is gone. Jin Hai is left speechless, his venomous arguments crumbling under the weight of truth. You seek only personal glory, Jin Hyo warns, as Jin Hye's blade tastes the air. Enough. The command echoes fighting over the elders' decisions is a disgrace to Wudang's name. Peace returns to the hall, leaving only Jin So and Jin Hyo in heavy silence. A shadow hangs over young In Sang, whose heart remains locked in a dark, painful abyss. Until he cleanses his soul of vengeance, the Tin Dong Pavilion remains closed to him. Meanwhile, Jinmu's departure is halted by 2 disciples begging to join his grand journey. Armed with gold from Uncle Jin Hyo, they refuse to let their leader go alone. Jinmu realizes he's been stuck babysitting these 2 fools, a truly cruel parting gift indeed. Despite his fierce rejections, their desperate pleas for adventure continue to echo out loudly. High above, Jin Hai watches with eyes full of murder, fearing his legacy's total ruin. 20 years ago, his grandfather planted him here to elevate their lowly family name. Become a legend, Jin Hai. Turn our lineage into a pillar of the righteous path. Once mere thugs and lowly officers, his family craved the dignity only Wudang provides them. Jin Hye bled and sweated to become one of the 7 disciples of Wudang. But being a disciple wasn't enough. He hungered for the throne of the sect leader. 2 decades of planning, shattered by a nobody like Jinmu? I will not allow it. If he cannot stop the departure, he will ensure the journey ends in absolute tragedy. Wudang's 10 laws forbid killing brothers, but Jin Hai is ready to break them all. The day of departure arrives, and Jinmu must endure the grueling, traditional farewell rituals. These scattered mountain halls are a nightmare. Is this just an elaborate, exhausting prank? At Manhwa Hall, he receives fresh robes and a final lecture on Taoist discipline. Next, he claims a magnificent Taiji blade at Njokhoa Hall, symbolic of his rank. Finally, the journey truly begins after a final nod of respect to the sect leader. The grueling Wudang rituals are a death sentence. Those elders nearly killed me before I even left the gate. I'm stuck babysitting 2 clever juniors, Zhonggu and Zhongsang. They're supposed to be my helpful assistants. Helpful? Don't make me laugh. These brats pestered me until I had no choice but to lead them along. Quit whining, old man, and let us go. Finally, the sect leader grants us permission to descend the mountain. Freedom at last. Ha ha. But wait. What kind of annoying scheme is this old geezer cooking up now? Report back every single day, he screams. That exhausting send-off ceremony alone nearly drained my entire life force. Leaving that cursed temple behind, Jinmu leads his disciples out to finally breathe the air of the world. Once we cross the boundary, everything changes. The air of the real world is sweet and intoxicatingly free. Zhongsang, carry my sword. Zhonggu, you're on luggage duty. It's time to establish the true pecking order. But a sword is a warrior's soul, Zhongsang protests. One cold glare later, he's guarding it like his life. It's a 100-mile journey to the Chongyang merchant group. On horseback, we'll arrive before the sun even sets. Their first mission begins with burning spirits, but they haven't walked 10 steps before trouble blocks their path. Halt, you pathetic monks. Hand over your gold if you want to keep your heads from rolling today. Has the world gone mad? Bandits actually dare to rob Wudang disciples right at the foot of their mountain. We are Wudang disciples. You'll find nothing but pain here. Retreat now while you still have your lives. Wudang? That declining trash heap? The bandits sneer. Hand over the cash before we paint the grass red. Typical bottom feeders. Even after my long absence from the Murim, these thugs haven't changed a single bit. Zhongsang, sweep this trash away. We have a schedule to keep. The young disciple charges forward, 𝒊𝒐𝒏 moves like a dancing shadow. His footwork is flawless, dodging every clumsy strike with effortless grace. Without even drawing his blade, a few precise strikes leave the first wave of thugs groveling in agony. More bandits rush in with weapons drawn, but they are no match for �𝒐𝒏's overwhelming speed and skill. However, Jinmu senses something foul. Two hidden experts are lurking within this disorganized rabble of thugs. The masters wait in the shadows, using their subordinates as meat shields while searching for a lethal opening. Suddenly, an ambush. �𝒐𝒏 leaves a gap, and a hidden blade sends his sword flying into the air. Before he can react, another assassin lunges. A cold blade bites into his skin as panic finally sets in. �𝒐𝒏 has the power, but the Murim is a cruel teacher. He lacks the experience of street killers. These bandits don't use forms. They fight dirty and viciously, using every underhanded trick to draw blood. For a greenhorn like �𝒐𝒏, this chaotic and lethal style is a nightmare he wasn't prepared to face. Mistakes pile up as blood spills, just as a heavy blade swings down to end the young disciple's life. Asterisk, clang, asterisk, the massive blade is stopped cold, caught not by steel, but by the bare hands of Jinmu. You dare lay a finger on my subordinate? With a sickening crack, Jinmu snaps the blade, like glass. A devastating kick sends the leader flying, coughing blood, before a final strike hammers him into the dirt. Your coordination is far too professional for mere bandits, Jinmu notes coldly. You two are seasoned assassins. This wasn't a random robbery, it was a setup. Who paid you to target the Wudang sect? He demands. Realizing they're outmatched, the remaining assassin hurls poison needles and attempts a desperate, cowardly escape. Pathetic. Jinmu catches every single projectile with one hand as if he's merely swatting away flies. The assassin flees, but Jinmu is a blur. He slams the man's head into the ground instantly. Now, let's talk. Who sent you? The bandit spits back. You think a stupid monk can break me? Big mistake. This fool is talking back to the former heavenly lord of the Dark Heaven sect himself. Jinmu's response is a sickening times. Crack times as he snaps an arm. I asked nicely. My patience is gone. Another bone shatters under Jinmu's boot, triggering a blood-curdling scream that echoes through the mountain pass. Merciless? I haven't even started, Jinmu sneers. If you won't talk, I'll just ask your friend's corpse. Don't move, or I might accidentally snap your neck instead of just your ribs. Stay very still. The sounds of breaking bones and agonizing shrieks fill the air, leaving the remaining bandits paralyzed with terror. They tremble like leaves in a storm. Is this man truly a Taoist? No. He's a cold-blooded monster. Seeing his new robes stained with blood, Jinmu's patience snaps. He glares at the thugs, spill it now, or die. Terrified by his cold aura, they crumble instantly. We'll talk. We'll tell you everything. Just spare our lives. They belong to the 8 Dragons Association, a pack of vultures terrorizing Jiankou through extortion and fear. Their leader ordered an ambush near Wudang. These so-called famous experts were nothing but fodder for Jinmu. Someone paid a fortune to target Wudang disciples. A hidden hand is moving in the shadows, orchestrating this hit, risking the wrath of Wudang for gold? The client must be powerful or completely insane to plot such a scheme. Why waste a mountain of silver on 3 simple Taoists? Jinmu seeks the truth, but these pawns know nothing. Low-level trash have no answers. To find the mastermind, he must hunt down the leader of the 8 dragons. Only 10 gold for these two? Jinmu sneers at the low bounty. Fine, then I'll just collect from you. Empty your pockets. Every single coin. The legendary master becomes a cold-blooded robber, stripping the bandits of everything. The disciples watch in pure shock as their master robs the criminals clean. Even a pirate would call him king. Forget what happened here today, Jinmu warns. If I don't find your boss, you're all dead men walking. He crushes a coin into dust, a silent promise of their fate. Trust me, master, we'll go straight. No more evil. Fear is the ultimate teacher. Trembling, the thugs vow to change their ways, terrified by his overwhelming demonic strength. Carry these 2 pieces of trash. We're heading to the official's office. Night falls as they move for the bounty. Wait here while I talk business. The disciples collapse, exhausted from hauling criminals across the mountain for training. Seniors. Is our master's path truly righteous? They wonder if beating bandits to a pulp is the Wudang way. I admire his resolve, the other replies. These monsters only understand one language, the language of absolute, crushing pain. Did you see their eyes? They were paralyzed with terror. Jinmu's brutality has etched a permanent fear into their souls. They won't dare commit another crime. For one disciple, this justice hits home, stirring memories of a blood-soaked past. His family was slaughtered by similar beasts. The village burned, and he was the sole survivor of a senseless massacre. Saved by the great master of Wudang, he saw the killers captured only to see the system fail him completely. The bandits bribed the officials and walked free, returning to their path of blood. Forgiveness felt like a cruel joke. I swore to kill them myself one day. He struggles with the elders' teachings of peace versus his burning hatred. While the elders preach mercy, Jinmu offers a different path, the path of the iron fist and absolute consequences. This is true discipline. To wake someone from evil, you must show them a terror greater than their own malice. Punishment must be absolute. Let them fear the very air they breathe, knowing Jinmu is always watching from shadows. He walks through hell to bring light to this world. The disciple decides to follow Jinmu's dark, righteous path. I will become a demon to punish the wicked. While they pledge their loyalty, Jinmu is busy, being greedy. Inside, the noble master is currently screaming at the government official like a common merchant over a few coins. Are you blind? My disciple's clothes are ruined. 10 gold is an insult. He haggles with the fury of a tyrant. 1 more gold. Just 1. The official sighs, facing the 82nd tribulation of his career. A greedy Wudang priest. Their faces are unrecognizable. I can't even verify them. The official groans, but Jinmu's righteous pressure is too much. I've served for years, and I've never seen a Taoist this obsessed with money. He finally surrenders the silver coins. Now, tell me about the 8 dragons leader. The official warns he's a slippery eel who always escapes the law. How much is his head worth? Jinmu's eyes sparkle with the promise of more travel funds. 20 gold pieces. 20 gold? That's a fortune. Jinmu's hunter instincts kick in. This is the perfect way to fill his pockets. The official warns of the leader's formidable martial arts, but Jinmu only hears the sweet sound of clinking coins. He's a master of combat, they say. Jinmu scoffs. A true master wouldn't hide in this backwater dump. This territory belongs to the 𝒍𝒐𝒏 family. Even the heavenly demon sect treads lightly here. Something smells very fishy. A master hiding in gambling dens and brothels? The officials are truly incompetent for letting such scum roam free. If you had done your jobs, I wouldn't have to clean up this mess. Jinmu prepares to hunt. He steps out, ready to squeeze every penny out of this investigation. Suddenly, his disciples rush toward him with glowing eyes. Master, your nobility knows no bounds. We will follow you to the ends of the earth. Their praise is deafening. What's wrong with these two? Jinmu wonders. Did the mountain air finally rot their brains after the long hike? Their spirits were shattered and unstable, but enough of that. Calm down. We're feasting today. This is a legendary occasion, our first day out. We're going to have a god-tier banquet. The trio entered the Sea Moon Pavilion, a place surrounded by majestic mountains. Server, bring meat. Bring a jar of wine too. Eat your fill, there's plenty. This meat is cooked to perfection. These dishes are absolute masterpieces. Every bite is divine. But onlookers began whispering at the sight. Are these monks breaking their vows? Is Wudang finally dead? They had no idea they were watched. Are those the ones the young master mentioned? It seems the 8 Dragons Society failed their mission. We must report to the manor head. Those figures look familiar. Should we investigate their true purpose? Forget it, don't bother. We are only here to survey the territory belonging to our great family. This man is Gion, the 5th elite of the 𝒍𝒐𝒏 clan and manager of the Jiangku branch. Wudang Taoists? It's been ages. Since that disaster, they vanished from the center of the righteous path. Does Wudang allow meat now? They're gorging themselves and drinking wine. I never heard of this change. The 𝒍𝒐𝒏 clan has ruled for dozens of generations, a legendary name in the martial world's history. Their Jiangku branch alone has over 100 𝒍𝒏 members, both direct and secondary bloodline relatives. With scholars and guests, they exceed 1,000 people. Gion is a direct blood elite of the clan. Judging by their age, those boys are second-generation disciples. But look at them, eat like absolute beasts. If their ancestors saw this, they'd be horrified. Wudang is now just a sect facing its end. Facing the end? I wouldn't be so sure. Even a caged tiger is still a deadly predator. A tiger only leaves its cave when it's starving and needs to hunt. We must find out. Are they tigers or just stray dogs? If they're second gen, their peak is likely just the chi blade. If they've reached the illusory chi realm, test them, but do not shed a drop of their blood. I'll create an accident to probe their strength. Greetings, Taoists. I am a guard of the 𝒍𝒐𝒏. I deeply admire the Wudang sect. Meeting here is fate. May I offer you a cup of wine? Suddenly, a pest flies in from nowhere. Offering wine to monks? You're clearly just looking for trouble. What? This monk's words and expression. He sounds like a common thug who stole those holy robes. Too many eyesores today. Some people judge what we eat, others stare at us before slinking away. But you, Jew clan bastards, you're the ones who irritate me the most. Stop hiding like cowards. If you want to test me, come down here yourself. Why send a lowly hunting dog instead? Who are you calling a dog? How dare you? Forget it. He's just curious about your power. If he does something stupid, just kick him down to hell. This escalated into a serious mess. There's no turning back now. Their goal was to measure the strength of these mysterious Wudang disciples. Not just meat and wine, their attitude is like a group of bandits, especially that black-clad Taoist. He speaks like a lone wolf. I have no idea how high his true martial mastery goes. After a nod from Gion, the guard agreed to clash with the master. The video ends here. If you enjoyed this epic encounter, please give me a like. Goodbye everyone. See you next time.